Hey guys, this is JL Berg, and I am here to do a video blog for Sinfully Sexy Books. And tonight we're going to answer questions. I don't know what any of them say, so things could go really badly. I had my book group which is called Book Junkies, do a bunch of questions. I have not seen them. My husband put them together, so we're going to start answering questions. I told them they could ask me anything, so this could be fun. All right, you ready? All right, so he put him in a hat for me. Isn't he awesome? And he's looking at me. All right. So we're going to go in this hat. And let's see. The first question. Do you plot the whole thing out in an outline first, or do you just have a general idea of where you want the story to go and see where it takes you? Generally, I do both. I plot the major things out, the beginning, the middle, the end, the major climaxes, the oh what the hell moments, and those plot line moments that you guys really like to hate me for. I generally plot those out ahead of time. Everything in between, I generally sit down and kind of let the characters take me wherever they like to. So I do a little bit of both. I like to kind of freehand. That's the best part of writing, is when you get down, you sit down at your computer and you let the characters kind of take you on a journey, and by the end of the scene, you're like, wow, I did not expect that. That's always an awesome feeling, to kind of have that. Wow, they really kind of do live inside of you, and they have their own mind. All right, next one. If your novels were to be made into a book, who would be your leading man? Oh gosh. My husband's looking at me. He doesn't like this question. Let's see. Well, everyone knows I kind of have a thing for Ian Somerhalder. So he would be my perfect Logan, for sure. So whoever's in charge, somebody needs to get on that now. I haven't really ever thought about it beyond that. But you guys should definitely let me know who you think is perfect. I'm a big Superman fan. I like Henry Cavill. The guy who plays the dude in Outlander, Jamie, we should definitely figure out a character that he can be in one of my movies. That definitely needs to happen. I claim him. All right, we're going to move on for that question because my husband's giving the evil eye. All right. Next one, do you write longhand or using a computer? Oh, I definitely use a computer. I don't think I've written like an actual letter or longer than a note to school in I don't know how long. So longhand, no. I definitely use a computer. And my beta readers will tell you that I am the most like typo fanatic person ever. Like I have the most typos ever. I tend to type faster than I think, and so I have a lot of missing words. So they're very, very good people for having to read my stuff before it goes to the editor. Nothing juicy yet. You guys are all so good, proper. What inspired you to begin writing? Which author or authors have influenced you in your writing? Kind of always wanted to be a writer. It was my first kind of dream when I was little. But things always get in the way. When I was younger, I loved doing creative writing. But then term papers and history papers and English papers and everything else got in the way. And then when I went to go apply for college, I did the traditional route and majored in psychology. I did something, that was very expected. I didn't want to do anything that was out of the box, like become a writer or major in English. I wanted something that I could actually make money off of. Of course, then I graduated from college and got a job in something that had nothing to do with my degree, which is probably the kind of thing that happens to all of us. But at that point, after I graduated and got a job, I became a mom, and so many things just kept getting in the way of this lifelong dream that I kind of had. And at some point, I just decided that things were always going to get in the way. So I decided to just go ahead and sit down and finally do it. And When You're Ready took a long time. It was a long process, a lot of evenings away from my kids and away from my husband, a lot of time spent after work, weekends, but I did finish it, and it definitely changed my life. So, when you have something that you really want to pursue, it's always worth it. All right, more? Okay. Who is your favorite author, and what is your favorite book of all time? Oh gosh, really? You want me to pick one favorite author and one favorite book ever? Okay, so right now I'd have to say my favorite book right now is Outlander, and that's only because it brought that hot dude to TV. I'm sorry, my husband really hates me right now. I love you. Yeah, but no, for real. Like that series is, if you haven't read the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon, you have to read it. It's amazing. The history, and I'm a huge history nerd. I love traveling. My favorite places in the world are Ireland and England, and I love history. I love castles and roaming around ruins, and that stuff gets me off. So, shut up. Anyway, the history part of it. I mean, everything that she writes about is so accurate, and I mean, she'll spend pages about churning butter, and everything is so beautifully written that you're just like, wow, churning butter. But it's just, yeah, I mean, as a writer, you can't help but love everything about that series. It's romantic. It's beautifully written. It's, I mean, there's fight scenes. There's damsel in distress. There's a hero. I mean, who can't love that series? So yeah, that's my favorite right now. Okay, knowing that you have little irks, who are too young to read what you write now? Have you ever thought of writing a children's book? Oh, okay. No. I mean, I've been asked a lot, actually. It'll be funny. Like, people that I know throughout my daily, throughout my life, they find out that I write now, and so they'll be like, "Oh, well, what do you write?" And I'm like, "I write romance," and they're like, "Oh," and then they're like, "Well, have you ever considered writing anything else?" And I'm like, "Not really." And they say, "Well, what about like children's books? Have you ever considered writing children's books?" And I'm like, "That's such a large stretch, like romance to children's books." No, I mean, my kids have looked into writing children's books, and I've kind of helped them develop those ideas. But they're so different. It's such a different genre. Going from, and even developing the story. My screen just started black out. It's so different. But I definitely haven't looked into that. I mean, even jumping to paranormal romance is a scary thing for me, let alone jumping to writing for children. Oh, and who's too young to read my books? I always put a warning on my books. No one under 18. My daughters know that. My youngest daughter is 7, and she asks me all the time, how old can I be until I can start reading your books? And I say 18. Right, 18. So she's like literally counting down. And then when she turns 18, I'm going to be like, oh, just kidding. You can't read these until I'm dead. Okay, the next one. I have a few more. If you couldn't write sexy novels, but you still had to write for a living, what would you choose to write? I don't know. I've never thought about it. Didn't we just talk about this? I guess maybe if I couldn't write sexy novels, I would maybe write some sort of fiction. Maybe mystery. I don't know. My writing always lends itself to emotions, so I'd probably always still have the emotions there, even if the sexy part wasn't there. I think I'd still survive even if I couldn't put sex in a book, hopefully. Are any of the characters based, even loosely, on people you know or have known? Oh, definitely. Yes. Watch out if you're friends with me, because I will put you in a book. All of my lead male characters have some sort of character of my husband in them. You can't help but, add those qualities you love about somebody into a character that you're developing. That was sweet. You should have been like, "Aw, come on, aw."
I'm so mad at you about Henry Cavill.
Oh, he's still mad at me. All right. Anyway, but my character Leah is based on my my best friend Leslie. They both start with an L for a reason. Leah was literally the single version of Leslie, and they're very similar in their outspokenness and their loud kind of personalities. Let's see. Every child I write is got some sort of characteristic of my children. But yeah, I definitely take little bits and pieces of people I know and stick them in books. I don't know how you could not. And I would say every heroine that I write has a little bit of me in them. For Within These Walls, do you have a playlist? How do you choose those songs? Within These Walls, I definitely have a playlist. I have playlists for all of my songs, and they're all on Spotify. And you can follow me there. I'm currently creating a list for Ready or Not. And the Within These Walls playlist is actually my favorite. And I pick the songs. Sometimes they're just songs that I hear on the radio, and I'm like, oh, this song has to be on my playlist. Other times there's like a specific theme that I want to carry through in the playlist, and so I'll go on Spotify and I'll look up a certain word, and then I'll start looking through the songs that kind of have that theme or that word in the title, and I'll look for songs that kind of speak to me that way, or if there's a certain artist that I love, like all of my playlists have Justin Timberlake in them, at least one song. And I think almost all of them have the Silver Wharves. Those are two artists that always really speak to me. So I always pick the songs differently, but the Within These Walls playlist is my absolute favorite. There are some songs in there that I literally listen to on repeat for hours as I wrote some of those heart-wrenching scenes, just trying to get the emotions right. We have 2 more left. When you begin a new book, do you already know how it will end, or do you come up with it as you're writing? I generally know how it's going to end for the most part. The endings for me are very important. I don't like going into a book not knowing how it's going to end, because I think the ending is so crucial to a book. If you don't know how the arc is going to go and how it's going to be resolved, I don't think you can really start it properly. Now, how it goes about ending, Now, some of that I kind of write as I'm going through. You know, the oh, that's a spoiler, but there are certain things that I will add in it towards the end that maybe I didn't plan on. But definitely, I always kind of have in the back of my mind how I want it to end. Last one. All right. Where do you get your ideas for your books and characters? Do they come to you in your sleep, or do certain situations spark an idea? Yeah, they definitely come to me in my sleep. Sometimes I'm like laying in bed and I'm like, shut up. But yeah, they come to me in weird situations. Like I always get the best ideas when I'm in the shower. That's I don't know. Maybe it's because it's quiet in there and the kids aren't yelling at me. For the most part. But I don't know. For some reason, I tend to, and I write really good blurbs in the shower. Like the synopsis is for a books. I write really good blurbs in the shower for some reason, and I'm always like, oh, why don't I have anything to write down with it? Why can't I have a pen in here? Maybe that's what I should do. Get like a writing board in there or something. Get on that, Chris. Um, and do certain situations spark ideas? Definitely. I don't know if other writers are like this, but I can be in a restaurant and I can see two people talking and, wonder what they're talking about. And suddenly, suddenly an idea sparks in my head. Ooh, maybe they're talking about this and maybe this happened to them. And then suddenly this idea just starts building and building in my head. But yeah, definitely certain situations, life events. I can be watching a movie and see one tiny little scene, and it won't even be part of the main plot. It can be just, a little tiny part of the nothingness of the book or of the movie, and I'll see it and I'll be like, wouldn't that be interesting if something happened there and that happened, and all of a sudden things are flying around in my head, and it's just a matter of deciding which one of those things I need to write first. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I don't know if other writers are like that, but I've got things going on in my head all the time. Craziness. But we're out of questions. So what else should I say? Oh, so Within These Walls just came out a week ago, and it is a standalone for now. It does start and end, so you don't need to worry about cliffhangers or, anything series-wise with it. A lot of readers have asked me if I'm going to continue their story because they're just dying to know, what else could happen to Jude and Layla as their lives continue. And so, well, we'll see. That's all I'm saying is we'll see. But I do plan a second book on Roman. So for those of you who've read Within These Walls, you know who Roman is. He is the hot brother of Jude. And so, yes, he is getting a book. And hopefully that'll come out sometime the beginning of next year. But before that, we do have Ready or Not coming out, hopefully in November. So that is my schedule for the next 6-ish months. You guys can check me out on Facebook, and let's see, what else? You can join my group, which is where all these lovely questions came from. We're a very small group. It's called Berg's Book Junkies. And it's not a street team. It's just some place that a lot of my readers like to hang out and discuss my books or anything else that's going on in their lives. I do giveaways in there. I post exclusive teasers. And we have a good time in there. But other than that, thanks for having me. And it's been fun. Thanks, Sinfully Sexy, for everything. I love you guys. And talk soon.